morning right here. All those stories coming up this Thursday morning. And joining me to break it all down, Fox Business Network's Dagan McDowell, the Wall Street Journal's assistant editorial page editor, James Freeman, and National Taxpayers Union senior fellow, Forward Strategies president, Mattie Duppler, with us this morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us.
My emoji game is very strong.
Is it? Is it?
But, you know, this Morgan Stanley report, if it's true, as people dig into this, that this company is underperforming its peers. I don't know why all the other banks ought to be falling in sympathy, but obviously a fear that this is saying something larger about the economy.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no surprise, given the fourth quarter performance for the markets, right, that we were expecting. But then again, Goldman blew the cover off the ball yesterday, Dagan. That was a good number yesterday.
I think Goldman's performance yesterday, the stock performance, was its best in almost a decade. The stock was up 10% after that report. So I think that this gets back to what could be one of the stories of the year, is actual stock picking, that you don't buy the group. God bless Jack Bogle, that you don't buy an index of stocks, that you've really got to go through their finances and figure out which ones will do well and which ones will struggle in this environment.
And here we are on day 27 of the government shutdown. I don't know. I know you wrote about this, James. Maybe a lot of this bureaucracy in Washington is too much that we're actually learning right now.
You do have to wonder. You don't want anyone to miss a paycheck they earn, but this focus on the federal workforce and how much of it we're paying for does raise a question. When you have nearly half of the staff at the affected agencies deemed non-essential for protecting, doing the basic functions to protect life, property, public health, safety, et cetera, you do have to wonder, are we overstaffed? And this is happening at a moment in the U.S. economy where private businesses cannot find enough workers.
Yeah.
And I wish that that were the scrutiny that would apply to this case. Is government too big? Should we shrink it? But unfortunately, because there is such a massive private impact, that is the headline story here. We talked a little bit earlier about, especially with Stanley Morgan, about how M&A, IPO are so important on these earnings calls. All of that is stymied by a government shutdown. So if this continues, especially if it continues for a large part of the first quarter, the question is, how does private enterprise adapt?
Well, I'm not the only one who finds it appalling that 40,000 active duty Coast Guard members are working and not getting paid. These are members of, you know, the people who protect us in this country, and they're working without pay. So I think that that's on both sides. Like the fact that they can't get anything done at this point, and it's now turned to, not to take the story away, but turned to Nancy Pelosi trying to stop the State of the Union address because she doesn't want the Democrats to be castigated by President Trump. This has just gone way too far.
It's true. I think people are going to hold her responsible for that. I mean, people, just try to take, she wants to embarrass the president. She wants to change his schedule, create chaos where there isn't chaos. So we're watching that, one of our top stories. But right now, a disappointing earnings report from Morgan Stanley is moving markets. The stock is tanking. The rest of the broader averages are following suit, down about 100 points on the Dow. Jerry Willis is on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange looking at Morgan shares down 5%, Jerry.
It's unbelievable. You've got that right, Maria. Take a look at this stock, down nearly 5%. Morgan Stanley with